take 2, because for some reason I needed more than 1 take. I'm analyzing Latte's Frogfish run. Not no pause storage, because I've already done too many of those, plus Latte doesn't really do many buffers, which means that it is hard to kind of gauge his skill level and then think about what he should be adding or whatever. But in Frogfish, obviously it's much shorter, but it still has segments very similar to no pause storage. So I can actually gauge stuff properly, and he said in the server that his run is good, and he's top 5, so I want to check. So top 3 is 13, and then he's pretty comfortably in 5th place, like he's got quite a lead. So I don't think he's planning on getting 13, but I want to analyze the run and show how he could probably get a 13. So I'm going to micro-analyze the fuck out of this, except, well, I'm going to hurry up a little bit for no cheese because I've already seen it, but just a bunch of wiggling around, like wiggle there, for example. There was a very, very tiny readjustment. Like, you want the camera, you want the camera guiding you so that you can hold just a simple direction, usually forward for as long as possible, right? This angle is weird because he's doing the kind of angle that runners do for, like, spinning here, even though it's not fucking fast. You want more of an angle like this, like where my cursor's, like, yeah. There was a tiny readjustment there again. No truck skip, but, like, even in Frogfish, dude, unless you're going for, like, fucking Frogfish world record, I don't think you should be doing truck skip. If I ever come back to the game, I'm probably fucking dropping it from, like, every category that is in this one, honestly. It's hard to even save time with this, but it's just so AIDS, dude. Like, you wouldn't think it'd be that bad because of, like, oh, it's like 20-something seconds in, but dude, it's bad. If it were, like, in depression, no one would ever do it ever for any fucking reason. Like, it's so bad. But yeah, again, just readjustment stuff. Like, that was a fast setup, but, like, then the turn was a bit wide. Didn't lose much, though, but yeah, again, and readjustment there. And, he pans the camera down here, but, like I said in take 1, I don't actually recommend that runners, pan the camera down for lag reduction, because what nearly always happens is that you have a shitty line for the trampoline. Watch now. So you look how far off he was, and even I do this. I'm wondering if I bleed more frames than how many I save from the lag reduction. I wonder how, like, you definitely do save time for lag reduction in itself, but I have to wonder how much time is being saved, like, even before the near guaranteed readjustment. It might just be worth it to ignore it, honestly, and then, again, yeah, just readjustment. Jumping on the edge of the trampoline, which is good. And buffers here, even in Frogfish you want to buffer because it loses like 0.2 at most. Like it's like the trampoline ones. There are 3 buffers that you can do in Frogfish, and one of them loses like almost a second, which is the creek one, and the other 2 lose like 0.2. So yeah. Also, I'm assuming that Latte's loads are average. So he's doing a pretty common thing here where you jump back here to remove the chance of ledge grabbing. But you can just go neutral on the stick. It barely saves anything, but it does save stuff. And, like I said in take 1, I said this fucking cutscene loaded like it was on hard drive. It was so fucking fast, bro. Look at this. Like, look at that shit, bro. Crazy. And he has a good line here, so he doesn't have to readjust at all. And then he does, like, this weird thing. He, like, stops moving the stick for, like, 2 frames or something, and then snaps left. It's weird. And then he holds right here, which I don't understand that, because it's never really a thing of distance, it's almost always a thing of height getting up here, and it also means that you have to turn when you're on the button, which means that you lose more frames. And then this jump was a big boy jump. Yeah, that was a big-ass turn, or a jump, rather. However, here, you can see, like, my reaction is just a lot faster, so I went into YouTube Frame Timer just to see, like, from the beginning of Depression to there, like, you know, what my time was, and it's 24.6, right? So now I'm gonna take Latte's run, which I haven't done yet. This is when I stopped the recording, but I'm not gonna do this like all throughout the run. I just want to show how much of a difference like these frames can make. So 24.6, pretty easy number to remember, I hope. So I'm looking for the black bars, which I... Okay, there we go. 25.6. We have barely played the level, and he has already lost exactly a second. Again, it adds up. Also, I do have my splits. I'm probably barely gonna look at them, but yeah, this gold, to be fair, this 208.01 is with, without the buffer, but with the buffer, it would be like 208.2, so, yeah. Like, you can tell, like, how much people pay attention to the little things depending on, the depression gold. A lot of people, I feel like the standard, like pretty good depression gold is probably, like, a 214. Like a 214 to like a 212 is when like it's considered like a good depression gold, I feel like. But I don't know. I'm just basing that off a vibe. That was a good turn. Dude, I don't know why it's like every single movie runner, right? But I've noticed actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that every movie runner does this part the literal exact same, where they always have, like, this kind of angle, right? They walk up to the marshmallow for a couple seconds, and then, slowly approaching the marshmallow, then they go slightly right here. They do, like, a very slight right turn. I just realized, like, every runner does that. They all do this literal identical thing where they just have the wrong angle, they hold forward for a few seconds, and then they readjust by going slightly right to the first marshmallow. They literally all do it, it's insane. I don't even think I jumped to that marshmallow. Yeah, I just ignore it entirely, which then I you know, less readjustment. Could adjust here. That was, yeah, little safe jump to the marshmallow. Yeah, but it has I can see why he hesitated there, but in Frogfish, like, you gotta have, like, little hesitation. So there was a little bit of menu hesitation, like, honestly, if I were in no pause storage, I would have unpaused there. Like, genuinely, that didn't look like it worked, but apparently it fucking did. Also, a good way of, like, knowing how good, like, your depression is up to that token, like, when you two-frame the token, like, listen to the music and just kind of, you know, you should be grabbing it at about the same time every time, the token. Why did he open, bro. You know you can just press the, I don't know if it's the white or black button, but, oh no, it's the L trigger, isn't it? You can just press the L trigger and it tells you. Yeah, opening the menu loses just under a second, but he also, like, just stopped, so just lost, like, a second. That was, I feel like could have easily been avoided. And then, could have just jumped there. Ignores the spawner, good. Hitting the spawner loses 3 frames, and you don't need the manlies whatsoever. You will always have enough by the time you need to upgrade Cartwheel. But even then, you get to take a slightly better line, so honestly, it might save more than 3 frames to ignore it, but it's really hard to remember to ignore it. That was a bit of readjustment. A lot of what I'm gonna say is readjustment, but, like, you gotta understand, right? Like, I gotta micro-analyze this shit, because it's Frogfish. Didn't need to, again, you could just have the camera, like, yeah. This is a good, okay, never mind. I was gonna say that's a good line, but adjust it again. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, like... There was a bit of delay there. You want to, like, tap/mash B. You don't want to mash it so fast that, like, you accidentally let go of cartwheel after the cutscene's already been skipped, but, like, the text box. But yeah, you just want to... I feel like Latte's... I might just be looking too much into it, but I feel like he's doing the thing that we used to do, where we used to go neutral on the stick because we believed it decreased the chances of getting Mindy Steer. But, like, we know how Mindy Steer works now. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, maybe when you have Mindy Steer, maybe Copium, maybe it has something to do with it then, but you should never be in a position where you have Mindy Steer anymore anyway, so there's no reason. You just hold right, so there's no reason not to hold right. You'll never get Mindy Steer there. And then... I like, begin holding... Like, I hold right and, like, for a sec, and then, like, turn the camera. I feel like it's a bit easier to adjust. Yeah, that jump didn't have to be so big. You don't have to go, like, in the middle of the trampoline. You can, like, even, like, here would have worked. No buffer there? Like, you could say, oh, well, you know, the milliseconds matter in Frogfish because you're microanalyzing the fuck out of it, so of course it matters. And yes, it does matter, but, like, the fact that he opened the menu and then closed it and then reopened it again, it would have been faster to buffer it. You know what I mean? Again, like, he lost a second just from movement to the creek buttons. So, is, like, 0.2 really gonna kill you? Especially when it's not, like, free time save to, like, not buffer it, you know what I mean? Like, the reason why I look at movement and stuff, you know, it's just, it's obviously a massive quotations free time save because it just comes with playing more, but you know what I mean, though. Like, for me, it is free time save, you know what I mean? Also, he doesn't hold a direction when, like, I don't know why you wouldn't hold a direction here. That was just a bunch of wasted time. Yeah, just more, like, it's good to try and guarantee the kind of angle you have when approaching this, because, like, you want to approach the cone in the same way every time, or else, like, you know, you can make the jump a little inconsistent. Even had to, yeah, didn't have, like, a great... I feel like probably because of the angle, and then maybe also a jump spacing issue, just couldn't jump up here, which, again, just loses a tiny bit. Does the ending the way that I do it, it does save a tiny bit to jump from here instead of here, and it also technically makes the jump more lenient because it's slightly higher up than the invisible ledge. However, because you also need to, like, move a bit right and then forward, like, players consider it harder overall. Then we got sandwich driving. 246.07, so does fast sandwich out of bounds, which I definitely do not recommend. But yeah, it's gonna be harder to, like, notice when frames are lost here because it's a big-ass fucking sandwich and, you know, no camera adjustment. I see that he's about to bonk. I paused at, like, the worst possible time. Yeah, that lost a lot. Dude, the turns can make a surprisingly big difference, right? Back when me and Oofsta... Well, I think Oofsta still does Bulldozer, but, like, back when I was doing Bulldozer, Oofsta had a very slightly faster gold than me by, like, a few frames, right? It was, like, 6 frames or 4 frames. Yeah, I think it was 4 frames. So... I analyzed our sandwich drivings, I compared them, and I was a frame ahead by here, which doesn't really mean anything. His turn was so much better than mine that he was 9 frames ahead after this turn, because I lost 10 frames on the turn, and, like, the turn, obviously I could tell what the difference was between mine and his, but, like, especially in the moment, it seemed completely fine, and I lost, and again, like, if I just did the turn, even just a teeny tiny bit worse than him, I still would have beaten his gold, which just goes to show, you know, like, shit matters, like, no matter, obviously, like, the platforming levels are, like, with movement matters, like, the most, anyway, like, Or at least it's the type of movement that players care about optimizing the most, but it still matters in the driving levels. Latte is good at driving, but I'm just saying, like, in general. But yeah, I'm not gonna analyze these as much. Let's see how this is, actually. Yeah, that's pretty good. Doesn't go as deep into the dirt as I do. I cut more of the corner, but then I lose more speed. That might be maybe that's faster. Because, like, I meant to, I don't know, because it was like, oh, if I'm losing speed anyway, then, you know, might as well just cut the corner, but, like, it seems like he hardly lost any speed. That might be worth it. I mean, I don't go, like, literally as close to the wall as I possibly can. I don't want to bonk, but I go more, like, here. Yeah, that might be... I mean, it kind of depends, because if you're approaching it from this angle, then it's going to be a little... probably a bit too difficult to... Which I think in the time challenge, you do approach it from the third tunnel thing, right? I think you do. But maybe for this one, it's better to have this kind of angle and, like, aim... for the coral? Maybe. I could actually see that being faster, maybe. But I am not sure, but honestly, it probably is faster. So I'm curious to see how he does out of bounds, because, well, I know it's gonna be fast out of bounds, but what I mean is that there are two ways that you can approach the bulldozer, and you can either, like, burn the nitro ahead of time, or you can use the nitro, like, just before hitting the dirt pile. The latter I find more difficult, but it does save, like... I mean, it's hard to time, but I think when I very roughly timed it, I think it saved, like, 0.1, but genuinely, I felt like the consistency boost from nitroing earlier was definitely worthwhile. Granted, the trick doesn't save that much in the first place, so... But still. Okay. Bro, he almost got fucking... Okay, he missed it. He almost got fucking ultimate. I don't know if he was intentionally going for that, but... I'm just gonna assume he wasn't, but I will just quickly say you never intentionally want to go for it. It makes it a trillion times harder. I nitro... I would have nitroed, like, a little... Just, like, a tiny bit sooner than him. But yeah, it was a little too far right, if you went a little further left. I would have liked to have seen how he did the rest of the setup. But yeah, when this happens, the fastest thing you can do is just do bulldozer. I don't know what that reversing was for. Yeah, that didn't need to do all that. That's a wide-ass turn, god damn. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of runs back in the day where I thought I had the trigger and I didn't, but the trigger is, like, a little before the edge of this, the left side of the door. It's, like, here. And obviously, it's a little hard to, like, imagine it. But, like, he's already past it. And then he, like... is struggling to turn around. Also, if you are going to do this setup, just after the turn, it's faster to nitro so that you get your speed back immediately. Like, it's a little awkward to, like, turn and stuff, but, like, it does save frames. I think it was, like, 5 frames. But yeah. And let's see how this is. Oh, God. That was a little slow, and, whew, holy speed loss. Yeah, not the prettiest bulldozer I have seen, but I suppose it got the job done. I mean, you don't want to turn, like... You want the turn to be a little wide anyway, because it greatly increases the consistency, but, like, even that angle approach was, like, bizarre. Yeah, I don't like this setup. I don't like it. I don't know if it was intentional, but yeah, I don't like that. I'm curious to see what segment time he gets out of this, because this is not a good gold with, I mean, I'm hoping he's not gonna get offended by me saying that, like, but yeah, this is, to put it into perspective, my gold is a 239.75, and that is with ultimate, but without ultimate, it would be like a very high 240, which is rare, for the record. On average, I get, like, high 242s or, like, mid 242s. But, like, that's still 242. you know? I'll talk about it a bit more in a sec, but yeah. And yeah, unfortunately, like, a lot of stuff happens, so I can't guarantee you can do right side, so that's an additional half a second lost. But that's okay. Didn't have to do that adjustment there, could have just kept that angle. I've always wanted to know, like, I should probably look into it, like, if you do get the nitro as late as this, I do wonder if it's better to nitro here, because some of the nitro usage is getting wasted, or if you nitro as soon as you land, you get all of it, but then you go slower on the... I wanted to look into that, but I never did. Oh well. Okay, like, super low 253. Yeah, so that gold, 246.07, like, it is pretty unoptimal. Like, my gold... My last ever bulldozer gold before moving over to fast, which like I probably would have already beaten it by now, but it was like 247.08 or something like that. So by now I would imagine that I would have gone to 246, and you know the trick saves like without fast. No, I mean without ultimate, it saves like 4.5 seconds max or some shit, but. Yeah, so there's a lot of time to save from it. I don't know, especially if he's saving... I mean, I don't know what segment times he generally gets with Bulldozer, but it just seems like he's not getting the full time save from fast, and especially for his general skill level. I mean, I don't recommend fast, I really don't. It's very hard. As proven by the fact that he missed it, and if he didn't go for it, he would have a faster time right now. And yeah, and again, in a category like Frogfish is more justifiable, but like, there's other time to save. I mean, I just realized that Depression was a gold. I don't know if that's a no pause storage gold, or if he just like, didn't transfer the splits or whatever, but like, considering like, I don't know, I mean, that's, like, he could definitely get that down to like a 211. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need fast. Like, you don't need it. Yeah, bash is there, like you should. You want your jump here to be shorter so that you're more, because, I mean, I don't know exactly how the trigger works, but it looks like you fall into it as opposed to, you know, like, it seems like if you cut your jump a little shorter and then walk into it, that's probably a bit faster. A little bit of readjustment. I'll talk about adjustment less as we go on, but yeah. You can do this faster. I would like to show how I do it. It would be easier to show it than to describe. I mean, you're just not, like, jumping to the other side of the platform, but... I forget exactly how much this saves, but I think it might be 1/4 second, which is quite a lot. It does add a little bit of difficulty, because if you don't do a wide enough turn, goodbye run. There's also a very small chance that the spitter hits you, but yeah. But yeah, again, like, I feel like that's a pretty easy time save, like, in my opinion, should try that adjustment. You can also do a slightly faster one here, but that I actually don't recommend. I don't even do that in Frogfish because it's actually a pretty solid chance the spitter hits you. It only saves like, I think it was like 0.12 or some shit. It might not have even been that, honestly. That was a weird adjustment. I don't see why you just wouldn't turn the camera here. You're already gonna turn it anyway. Like, I don't, you know. And then more readjustment. Could have jumped a little more to the right so you wouldn't have to go as far left, and then, you know, you could set this up a bit faster. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I don't think he was holding, like a hard right there. I think he went, like, neutral on the stick and then went right, but... Yeah, you just want to go, like, right. I might be wrong. But, yeah. And then cutscene, who cares? Again, it's just like, if I keep saying adjustment, I mean, like, I don't know how obvious it is to other people, but, like, that's the thing. I don't know, like, how much I need to bring attention to it, because, like, I don't, like, when, like, I'm not saying that Latte's at a low skill level, I'm not trying to imply that at all, but, like, what I mean is that, like, no matter how good your movement is, it can always be better, because it's never going to be as good as Tass. So you're eventually going to get to the point where, like, you physically, like, you cannot see the difference between your movement and a player, and a high-level player's movement. A player that's a higher level than you. Like, you can't, or at least you most likely can't. I remember, like, thinking that my movement was really solid, and then, like, okay, like, I don't know if anybody remembers my 105 segmented run I uploaded to YouTube. It was just my golds, my compiled golds, and at the time it was like a 105.53, I believe. At the time, I knew there were a couple golds that were a little unoptimal, but it was more like slightly slow trick attempts and stuff like that, as opposed to like movement or like slightly bad RNG, you know, just things like that. And I looked back at it even like 2 years ago, or like a year ago, something like that. It wasn't even like super recently, and even then I was like, wow, my movement was like noticeably shaky, like, at least to me. But like, I don't know if other players could look. I mean, people probably haven't watched that video in years, but I'm just saying, like, even if like a decently experienced player did watch it, I don't even know if they'd be able to detect the movement mistakes. I genuinely don't know. I'm saying that sincerely. So I would like... I have to mute my mic there for a sec, because I could tell I was gonna fucking sneeze real bad. But yeah, basically... I don't know how obvious, like, players' movement mistake... Like, especially because there's a difference between movement, like, when you're doing the run, and movement when you watch it back. But... yeah, like even my movement, again, it's like, there's gonna be movement better than mine that is, like, theoretically obtainable, like, or I guess, like, attainable, would that be the right, I don't know. You don't have to break these boxes, you can literally just jump in between. And again, just, like, readjustment. I go under the steam and then jump, because I find it easier, but I guess it doesn't really matter. That's a bad angle. That's, how the fuck did that not ledge grab? You want to go, like, a little more left there. Although, obviously, you don't want to get fucked by the cat. I'm shocked that that didn't ledge grab. That's nuts. That's crazy. Yeah, again, just, like, readjustment and stuff. Oh. Raggy. Yeah, that lost more than it looked, because it looked like he was gonna teleport to the token. But then, yeah. And then, upgrading cartwheel at the end. Yippee! I noticed that, it doesn't, like, matter, really, I just want to point it out. A lot of runners will, like, move down in the menu and then right, but I go right and then down. Doesn't really matter, but yeah. So, I guess I can look at my splits right now. I did do truck skip, to be fair. And I not only did attempted fast sandwich out of bounds, but I also got it. So obviously, you know, grain of salt. But Latte's depression exit was a 322, and mine was a 316. I'm not looking at his milliseconds, though. He doesn't have milliseconds on his thing. And then I had a 558 sandwich driving exit, which is like, I'd say that's like average. Maybe, yeah, it's like average. And he got a 615. My 3K exit was an 8 flat, and his is an 821. So I'm 21 seconds ahead, and by the end of the run, I have a 44, right? So 16, and then 20, yeah, so in total, my run is 23 seconds faster. And I'm 21 seconds ahead right now, so he only loses 2 seconds to me for the rest of the run. Unless I'm mathing wrong. I don't think I'm mathing wrong. Yeah, so rub-it-up skip, this wouldn't, what I'm about to, like, it wouldn't really be notable in other categories, but, you know, I gotta talk about how to make your rub-my-dub skips more optimal. Okay, dude, I kind of view, rub-a-dub skip D-pad like how I view, not to the same extent, but it kind of, I don't hate it as much as Invisible Crate 3 meter, but like, yeah, I'm, as far as I'm aware, I'm literally the only runner who uses stick, but like, this is why. Do you see how aggressively this tub has been turned? That doesn't happen with my one, which, like, obviously then, you know, the angles are a little harder to get down, but basically, what I believe to be the case is that D-pad is easier in the short term, and, analog stick is easier in the long term, and I was looking for long term, because I fucking despise the goddamn D-pad on the Xbox controller, so on an OG or 360, both are fucking abysmal. So bad, dude, they barely feel like D-pads, but like, see, look. Like, the tub is tilting a tiny bit, but it's nowhere near as bad, which means that I don't have to build up speed for a long of a duration of time. It's kind of goated. But yeah, you also saw there that I just, like, jumped to here, which saves, like, I don't know how much it saves, like, probably at least a second compared to jumping back. You don't need to do a double jump there, you can do a single jump, and you'll, like, you'll just, like, barely graze the wall, but then you won't be in the air for as long, so it's, like, pretty much free time save, in my opinion. So here's the thing, right? Because your tub is, like, super fucking tilted anyway, you lose... Because the issue with this setup, or I mean my setup, is that you don't have as long to react or build up speed. And you need to... at least I do, I slightly readjust the camera. But if you're doing the D-pad setup, you're losing all of your speed anyway, or like almost all of it. So you could just jump here, and then start setting this up, and you probably have like the exact same speed by the time you get here. I feel like if you're using D-pad, it's probably like almost the exact same difficulty to like, I don't know because I don't use D-pad, but that's my educated guess. I do believe that's probably the case. You know, it's just like very minor camera adjustment and less time to like mentally prep. But like, so I'm not gonna call it free time save, but I can't imagine the time save is like that hard. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was a good rub-it-up skip attempt, I guess. Yeah, that's like completely fine. No wood frame, but like you shouldn't be like... I feel like you shouldn't even be attempting wood frame, like going out of your... Because then, you know, it's, you're more likely to, in general, to jump too late as opposed to jumping too early. Like, when you get the trick down. And, you, like, I never intentionally go for wood frame because it just increases the overall number of successful rub-it-up skip attempts. Could have gone a bit more right there. I don't know if that'd really make a difference because he's already pretty far right. Alright, yeah, so like 52, and I got a 51, like a low 51, and he got like mid 52, so yeah, I saved a little over a second. But dude, my gold is nuts, it's just under a 50. I don't know if I agree with that. You're taking a wider turn when, like, if you just take a straighter turn, you'd already be, like, here. And you get a more direct line to the barrel. You're not even cartwheeling for a longer duration of time because you literally just cartwheel off the steps and then continue cartwheeling. And you have to start jumping sooner. Yeah, no, this has to lose time. The wider turn and... like... you could just do like 2 shorter jumps and you can make it here. The only problem is that the angle would be slightly more quirky, but I genuinely think... you know what, maybe I should frame time this. I think this would be a... how should I do this? I guess from here? Although it's hard to do it, like... I guess I'll do it from, like, the frame... Like, here? I don't really know. Even then, I might have fucked it up in my run anyway, I don't know, so... I'll just duplicate. This is probably a bit of a waste of time, but I'm just, like, curious now. Again, it's good to, like, get into the mentality of, like, dissecting the run and, like, inspecting, like, where you can get free... Oh, for fuck's sake of... Okay, I guess that doesn't really matter, because I'm still just exiting. I can't believe I fucked that up. I'm so cringe. Okay, I got teleported on this frame, I think? Wait, what? Oh, right. I did, like, bump into this a tiny bit, but... Yeah, 3.58, 3.71. Yeah, so... Yeah, I was right. My name's Chef. Oh, wait, why am I watching my run? Not watching Latte's run. Could have reacted. Like, did you see how fast I reacted from the slides? Like, yeah, you can... Obviously, that's risky as fuck, but I'm just, you know... Let's see how the jumps go. Alright, pretty good, actually. Yeah, that was, like, basically perfect. He missed the jump at the end, but, like, he still, like, got... you know, so that lost, like, a very tiny amount of time, but, like, obviously, you know... The rest of the jumps were great, so... Yeah, nothing to comment on there. Yeah, because if you... It is possible to kill him early, but I never go for that because, like, it never fucking works, so... Oh, wait, no. Wait, hold on. Am I misremembering? I haven't done this in a while. Okay, yeah. So I approach it more of an... Because Latte got knocked this way, but I got knocked this way, which is closer to the enemy, so the way that I did it was a bit faster. There is a tiny bit of RNG with the enemies are, but that was really good. And we go Weenie. I can't compare, like, golds, because mine has Weenie out of bounds, but, you know. Or at least I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. Okay, so he does that. You, Wait, does he do Conquer Bruh, on lap 1? That is bizarre. That turn was, that was wholly wide turn. This is really hard, though. Like, genuinely, this is, like, really hard to do optimally. I don't know why it's so goddamn hard. But afterwards, assuming you have I mean, even then, yeah, you want a nitro, like, after the turn to immediately get your speed back, but he just uses it here for some reason. That nitro is slow. Like, he grabbed it kind of optimally, but, like, think about the cut you can take. At least, like, I'm pretty sure we timed it to be slow. I mean, we didn't time it to be fast, I'll tell you that, but... I know I did a comparison of it on TSSM Archive, or, well, I say I know, I think I did, but I don't know how thoroughly I did it, I might have, you know. But, I do not believe this nitro to be fast. Part of the reason why is because I stopped grabbing it, and then I started golding a lot, which obviously that could just be a coincidence, but just in general it feels slow, especially because while that grab was optimal, it's so easy to not have an optimal grab there. Like, do you see how, like, see, look, you see how wide that was after the fact? That's usually what happened, like, that was quite wide when you could just keep taking this sort of line. That was a good nitro use, though. So, for this nitro, you can start nitroing, like, here. Like, when you're, like, right next to it, essentially, like, you'll get, like, pretty much perfect nitro use. Like, yeah. Or even, like, just before, like, being right next to it, actually. Yeah, that was good. My face went bonk. I guess that makes sense, because on the turn you're gonna be losing a tiny bit of speed. But, like, you were still in the middle of the turn, which is why I don't fully... I feel like beginning to use it, like, here instead would have been... No. I guess that's fine. I don't know if that would have, like, lost a frame or two. You want a nitro, like, immediately after landing, like... Wanted to use, like... I get wanting a better, I mean, like, here probably would have, like... Here? I just avoid the spikes entirely, but, yeah. You don't want a nitro there. It does save a frame, but, there are times where you'll just, like, get a random hop here and lose, like, 2 seconds. It's fucking stupid. And, it makes it even, like, it makes it more likely that you hit the side here, especially, like, here or here, so... It's not worth the 1 frame of time save, and I don't do it anymore, except for, like, accidental habit. That was a missed nitro, unfortunately. Yeah, that was good. Missed that one. Ooh, that was pretty unoptimal. That is what, like, that's why, on lap 3, you don't want to go through the oil, you actually want to go this way, and then, like, you collect the nitro, hug the wall, and then nitro. That was a very unoptimal nitro usage, because your second nitro, you want to use it, like, here, and it's already too late. So now, the fastest thing you could do, because the nitro usage would otherwise be unoptimal, it would be, if you do it fast enough, it would be faster to grab the key and turn around and drive back to the finish line. If your nitro usage is going to be this suboptimal. Yeah, that's fine. So, like, 307 point something? Like, 307.6? Yeah, like, that was like 0.5. I got a 307.06, apparently. And again, I can't compare my gold, so... Yeah. And then we got Frogfish. Okay, Latte's doing the thing, that's good to see. So, I forget how much it saves, I think it might be like 0.3 or 0.2 or something, but if you like immediately cartwheel to the right, Frogfish will charge here instead of here. However, then you have to do a slower charge for the second one, so it would save more than it actually ends up saving. It might not even be 0.3, honestly, like... He cartwheels very far forward, like, I cartwheel, like, further back, because you can't always guarantee that you'll stand here, like, every single time, you know, because it's pretty far away. And then, because it's Frogfish RTA, you gotta wait. And that looked kind of optimal. For this third hit, I've never, like, looked into, like, where you'd want to stand. I just let him fucking charge, which I probably shouldn't do. It's just hard to care about, like... Like, Frogfish RTA is, like, that category that you run when, like, you either don't have time for the other categories, you want something, like, that's slightly different, you know, you want, like, a free, decent time on the leaderboards. You're just getting into adding, like, sandwich out of bounds, so, like... Or even rub it up skip, so it's like, oh, you know, you only have to do it once, so it's like a good category to, you know... Just like... Just any of those reasons, like, those are reasons to get into the category, and because the segments are so similar, you don't really have to learn anything new other than Frogfish and... Well, you don't learn anything new in 3K. But yeah, Frogfish, like, is slightly different, it's just easy to just kind of not think about it, especially when your priority is getting the token frames, getting rub it up skip, you know, all that stuff. Though, next time I run Frogfish in 2029, I will think about that. You do want to stand, like, here, because, the tongue will always appear, like, here. Like, around here somewhere. So this is optimal. Yeah, that's very optimal. Yeah, that was a really good Frogfish. I'm looking at my splits right now. His, Frogfish gold is faster than mine. Probably because of what I just said. I don't know if, I don't know how well I did in my PB. Like, I don't know if I messed anything up, but... I mean, this will be the same, but... Yeah. Yeah, that was fine, but then look at where I stand. Yeah, I mean, that's not that much slower. That can't be that much slower, but, like, that looks a little slower than what Latte did. Why did I stand so far back? Why did I do that? I feel like that's a... Yeah, no, I choked. Even that, like, I didn't need to stand as far back there. I don't know why I was doing that, yeah. So I could definitely see how I can gold that easy peasy, but yeah. That's kind of interesting, because, Latte lost time to me in every split, except for, you know, like, the arguably most different split from fucking, like... I guess, like, all tokens. That's, like, the thing it's most similar to, I guess, because of BBBH or, like, non-plank lag clips, BBBH stuff. I could have also just said BBBH backwards, but yeah, So, Latte said that he doesn't want to play this again. The thing is, right? I don't know, I mean... If you nail, like, if you get good at, fast sandwich out of bounds, I could see you getting, like, 244s, and, you know, that's 9 seconds, like, that's enough to get a 13. You know, depression, like, yeah, it could easily save, like, at least a second. I mean, maybe not easily, but... 3K was just, like, a whole bunch of readjustment stuff. Also, I mean, there was a bit of a small choke at the end, but... And there was the quarter of a second time save at the beginning. Rub-it-up skip, I feel like you might as well try doing it a little faster. If you don't like it, then fair enough. BBBH, I do not like that line that he takes. Even, like... Yeah, because my BBBH gold is a 46.21. And I think his was still a 47. Yeah, yeah. So, exactly a second faster. And Weenie, again, we can't compare golds, but my segment time is faster than his gold that I got in my run. I did give, like, a couple little tips, but there isn't too much you can do there. There is obviously the idea of doing out of bounds. At Latte, I mean... You need to, like, learn how to drive backwards optimally, and, like, how to do boat bounce optimally and all that stuff. Like, you don't need to, like, obviously, like, fucking grind it, but what I mean is that, like, you'd want a general idea of what you're supposed to do so you don't lose any unnecessary time. It saves an absolute maximum of 7 seconds, so... If you're, like... I think at Latte's level... Like, if you're otherwise, like... Either insanely unlikely or guaranteed to not PB, essentially. Like, guaranteed to not PB going into Weenie. I guess you might as well do the trick. I mean, like, if the run died in, like, Rub-a-Dub, then BBBH takes less than 50 seconds. You can just quickly get that out of the way. And then you're like, alright, I'll just do Weenie out of bounds real quick. So, because, 13 will probably be Frogfish's, like, last-minute barrier. Like, maybe ever, honestly. Like, I mean, at least for the rest of the decade. Because it's like, where do you go from there, right? I mean, you could get... Okay, so I could get, like, a 3x with Weenie out of bounds. But 2x is not even... My sum of best isn't even a 2x. Like, even if I had, like, the most optimal, like, Weenie possible, and then I golded Frogfish a tiny bit... I think it would either barely be a 29 or barely be a 30, for 1330. So, yeah, not possible. And then, like, hard drive, maybe? But, like, there aren't even that many loads. So then it's like, what does I bring it down to? Like, fucking 2x? Maybe 1x? Some of best? Maybe? Yeah, probably like 1x because of faster cutscenes as well. Yeah, you just... Yeah. So being able to obtain, like, the Frogfish's final minute barrier, especially because, if you do that, you bop Sam. And you might also bop Vaz. So, again, like 3K depression, you know, just like weenie nitro management stuff. Maybe the thing in Rub-a-Dub. I would reconsider fast sandwich out of bounds, but if you're gonna do it, then I mean, I said what you did wrong anyway, but even Bulldozer could have been done a bit faster. So yeah. I will say that when I said the Latte was a second behind me by the time I did factor the load. After this recording, I will do it without factoring the load. And then I will update the description if my results are any different, or it'll be a comment. So again, hopefully this isn't taken too harshly. I mean, it's just, you know, I'm just trying to help runners get better. You know, hopefully encourage. I hope it isn't discouraging. I want it to be encouraging. And I also just wanted to analyze a run, you know, have a bit of a backlog of uploads, because I already, like, want to upload some more stuff, but one idea I have, I want to delay it for a bit. Because technically, the longer I wait, the better. It just kind of depends on, like, the developments of the thing, so. But I am planning on doing a video on that in, like, a few weeks. But yeah, that's basically it, so thank you for watching, and goodbye.